All right, we're recording. So we have people participating in Career Lab. This is our first time doing this. This is a bit of a pilot. Stacy wanted me to make sure that I emphasize that this is a pilot program. There are going to be rough edges. We're still figuring out some of the content as we're even having the kickoff call and everything. So please give us feedback about it. You know, if there are things that aren't as helpful or things that are super helpful, we should do more of or whatever, like, you know, just let us know. We're all about trying to make it better for the next time we do it. We are recording because we have people in a bunch of time zones who are participating, or people who just maybe couldn't be here. So we want to have this available to them. But I will start sharing and we'll talk about what Career Lab is. So, all right. Give me a second to get all the windows arranged. Someday Zoom is going to come up with a better UI. Get the chat open so I can see when y'all are chatting. Okay, I think I'm all set. So, welcome. Career Lab, super exciting. It's this new program that came out of some strategic planning that we did as a board and with a couple of our long-time mentors, where we decided that instead of just trying to scale up the program that we normally do, the shopping list app, which I think provides a ton of value, but instead of trying to just scale that up so more people could do it, what we really decided we wanted to do was to focus on getting people jobs. And so the idea being that as you all get your jobs in tech, that you will do what you can to influence the organizations where you work and, you know, create more opportunities for other people who kind of come behind you, right? So we want to get you all into jobs, and how we're going to do that is there's a couple of things. Career Lab is the most immediate and most sort of tangible thing, where we are going to spend the next 2 weeks going through a bunch of activities to help you kind of get, you know, just kind of be better prepared and better able to kind of get through the job search. We have things that are longer term that we're going to do as well, that really around trying to influence companies and hiring managers at companies and the people who sort of hold the purse strings. So the people who are in charge of budgets at those companies, to be more open to hiring early career people. That's much more of a long-term project. But what we're going to do over the next 2 weeks, Career Lab, I think it's going to be helpful. It's there's a ton of mentors. We have a bunch of mentors on the call who've been contributing to it, and it's really amazing to me that we have been able to pull this together so quickly. I think it was a month ago that we really even started planning for this and kind of putting things together. I had faith because we have so much talent around in this group, and amazing people like Crystal, who is a career coach by trade, to contribute to it, and John, who works at New Relic with a program for early career people. So we typically do like some kind of introductions here, but I guess what we might do is do that through the sessions themselves. Just kind of get to know each other a little bit better. But I want to just make sure we get through sort of a description of what Career Lab is. So, okay, so I've been talking for 4 hours. All right, so Career Lab, this is sort of the set of things that we're going to do over the next 2 weeks. This page I will post into the chat for you all. You can actually toggle this as a calendar, so you can get a little more visual view of what we're going to do. You'll see there are certain things that last over the course of a few days, and there are other things that are more like presentations, so the synchronous calls like this. So right now we are in the kickoff call, right? So yeah, I mean, it's all about getting you jobs, right? So the things that we have lined up for you have to do with sort of how you tell your story. How do you kind of convey to people who are reviewing your information that you're a person worth talking to, right? That'll include your LinkedIn profile. We have a great session set up to help you improve your LinkedIn profile. We'll have the mentors do actual reviews. We have you paired up with each of the participants paired up with 2 mentors who will review your LinkedIn profile and give you feedback. A lot of job interviews have a take-home assignment. So we actually have one that that John uses it at New Relic. This is where we have sort of a little mini app set up, and there's a place for you to add some logic to make just to transform some text. So you'll do that take-home assignment. You will then participate in a mock interview, a technical interview, where you go over that same assignment. This is a really common pattern in technical interviews. We'll talk about just how you do well in a technical interview. We actually have a really fun session planned where I will be interviewing Alejandro Ñañez, one of the mentors, and John is going to be interviewing Indiro, another one of the mentors. So you'll get to see us, like how would a person who's in the industry, who's been there for a while, how would they answer some of the same questions that you're going to be presented with when you're out there interviewing. Another kind of cool thing we have is we're going to pair you up to work on this platform called Pramp, which I haven't ever used personally, but Crystal's used it a bunch with people that she works with, and it's a way for you to kind of just get more practice interviewing. So, I mean, interviewing is a skill like anything else, right? Like the more you do it, the better you get at it. So, this in the next 2 weeks, you're going to get some sort of, I guess it's a didactic learning. It's like some presentations, but you're also going to get a ton of practice actually kind of working on these skills directly. So, let's see. So you can kind of think of it. The first week is mostly centered around how you get the interview, and the second week is once you have the interview, how do you do well in that. So I think we don't have all of these. Like I said, we're still kind of fleshing out the content for some of these, and actually we may even have to move some of these around to kind of make sure we have those things ready before we present them to you. But I'll go through a couple of these. So because there are, let's see, I mean, you can read these things yourself, but I want to talk about this one in particular because what to include on your LinkedIn profile. This is actually, it's a series of videos that Crystal has recorded, and they kind of talk you through different parts of your LinkedIn profile. The idea here is that you will spend time. I'm going to just switch headphones here in a second. Actually, I need to switch headphones. 1 second. Can you hear me? Your thumbs up. Okay, great. Whew, I meant to do that before the meeting started. Okay, so this session, the way it's going to work is that you'll spend time watching those videos and working on your LinkedIn profile based on the advice from the videos, and then we'll have the mentors. Then we'll have a session actually where you'll get a chance to ask questions about it, get some clarification if anything wasn't clear, and then we'll have the mentors review what you've done. So that'll be also sort of a prerequisite to one of the mock interviews as well. So so that's kind of what that session's about. And we, again, have it on the calendar basically for you to work on that on Tuesday. So there's nothing on Tuesday, but there's the session is on Wednesday. So if you, I mean, you could start now, but between now and that Wednesday session, watch the videos, work on your LinkedIn profile, come with questions on Wednesday, and we'll get that kind of all set for you. So let's see. So yep, the mentors are going to review. We have all the pairings are listed in here. So once you've done the pre-work and the Q&A session, then we have it all listed out here. Who is going to be reviewing your profile? So again, everybody, all the participants have, all the Collabies have 2 mentors that are assigned to review your work. So you should get some good feedback from that. John, you want to talk about the take-home assignment? I know I didn't put you on the spot.
Yeah, no problem. I had to find the unmute button. Yeah, my work just switched from BlueJeans to Zoom, so I still don't quite know where all the buttons are yet.
Okay.
Sure. So this is an exercise that we use as a sample exercise at New Relic for the Ignite program. When we actually have folks who apply, we have an option of 2 different exercises. One's kind of front-end oriented, one's kind of a command line tool. And then we also like to provide, just so that they can see what it's like before they're actually applying, we have this. In this exercise, it's a little different than the one that we use exactly, because we wanted to make it more similar to specifically what folks in the Collab lab have been working on. So it's React, is that right? I think it's a little React. I forget. Yeah, cool.
Yep.
And you can see here in GitHub, oh, thank you. This is kind of the main repo for it. And so you would just fork this and you can kind of follow the instructions there. It's got all the screenshots and everything. And the actual exercise is basically you have some text that's got, maybe some long lines and some extra white space, and you just want to do a line wrap on it. So if it's a very long line, you add a new line in there. And if it's got a bunch of extra space, you condense it down. You can see the rules there. We also have a scoring rubric for it. It's a whole spreadsheet that we have everyone fill out when they're doing the evaluations for these code samples. That way we can make sure that it's as consistent as possible, that everyone knows exactly what it is that we're looking for in the solutions. And yeah, we also use these later in the in-person interview. When you do the tech portion of the final interview, we give you a choice of some features to add to the code that you submitted. And we have, again, sample version of that as well for this exercise.
Yep, perfect, thanks. So yeah, so there are instructions here. If you've never forked a repo, no problem. Just, there are instructions here, but if you get at all stuck on this or whatever, just kind of be noisy in the channel and the cohort, the winter cohort channel, and let us know, and we'll help you get unstuck. And then, yeah, just to kind of be super explicit, it's like the simplest possible React app. And there's basically in this app.js, there is a place for your work. Everything that you need to do, hopefully, the only thing you need to do is just put some stuff here. Okay, so this is basically a little form that when you hit the submit button, it spits out the transform text into this results div. So all the logic you're going to do to transform the text should basically just go here. You'll just be setting this text output. That's
one thing I would add to that, it is totally reasonable if you want to create some other functions that you call from that section. You don't have to put all just in line right in that block.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, this could be one or more function calls that actually do the transformations, and maybe you would put those outside or something. But it's totally up to you how you structure it. But yeah, this is where you want to start, is in this little section right here. So we tried to keep it as simple as possible so it wouldn't have any distracting kind of other components to it. But I've been talking a lot. Are there any questions yet?
I just wanted to comment that all of this sounds great. I know that it's really nice to be able to do a take-home assignment and then some review and then talk it out, because that's where a lot of my fear is. So yeah, I'm just really looking forward to this. I know it's a pilot program, but it seems like you guys have a lot set up, and I'm just grateful for the opportunity.
Yeah, thanks for saying that. Yeah, I think it is, one of the nice things about doing mock interviews here is that you will get feedback. And sometimes companies won't give you feedback on your interview, right? Like they'll say, oh, sorry, we went with somebody else and we can't really say much more. Even Zapier is like that. We typically don't give feedback to people who don't get the job. So in this case, we have, professionals in the field who, like, part of what we're doing is to give you feedback. And, like, it would have been stronger if you had given an example here, or like whatever the feedback is, right? So, yeah, so hopefully it is helpful. There's, let's see.
I have a question regarding this
Sure.
take-home assignment.
Yeah.
So, like this assignment seems like a good case for having like test cases. Like, okay, there is this test input, and there could be different inputs, and then there could be like test outputs. So I'm just wondering, like, if somebody like decides to do it in a different way, that they have like test cases for it. So how does that translate, like for a company? That does it like give it a good impression of the candidate, or how does it then work out?
I can take that question. So for this particular exercise, in the original version, A, it wasn't a JavaScript app, and B, it specifically said you had to include tests. I will say, though, that different companies and different reviewers are going to feel differently about whether you should include tests or not. So I would strongly recommend that you clarify that when you get an exercise. If it doesn't say either do include tests or don't worry about tests, either way. In this case, don't worry about tests, it's fine. We wanted to condense it so that you didn't have to spend much time on it, to keep it within the time limits we said. But I would say anytime you get a take-home exercise, ask if they're expecting to see tests or not.
And yeah, so one of the things I guess I didn't really say this before, but this looks like a lot, right? Our hope is that this is similar to the 5 hour a week expectation that we have for our normal teams. This kickoff meeting may not go an hour, but like each of the sort of the take home assignment is probably going to be the thing that takes the most time as for any one activity. But that's another thing, I guess, maybe as you go through, like give us feedback about, how much time did you actually spend on different parts of it, like updating your LinkedIn profile. That's a whole rabbit hole that you could go down. It may take you half an hour to watch the videos. And I mean, I know for me, it takes me a long time to compose exactly what I want to say. So, maybe track your time a little bit so we have some feedback on where we might try to adjust this for future groups too. So we don't want it to be a time burden, but also if you are in job search mode and don't have a lot else going on and you want to just dive in and put in a ton of time, that's totally valid as well. I was just want to say quickly about the mock interviews. So we're going to do 2 different mock interviews. One is called a job fit, and that's really sometimes that's a recruiter, sometimes that's a hiring manager out in the real world. But that's really designed to see, like, are your skills and background a good fit for the role, sort of generally. Get to know you a little bit, and then the technical interview is going to go deeper into your technical skills and kind of trying to evaluate your level of technical skill. So we have these 2 different interviews. It's super common for companies to have both of these types, and so we wanted to include both because they are sort of different experiences. A job fit typically doesn't have you do any kind of coding in the interview. It is much more of a conversation. The technical interview, I mean, you're going to have those when you get out there interviewing. So just wanted you to have those experiences. So one thing, Crystal, if you're able to, could you maybe talk to us about the PRAMP session?
Yes, I can. Sorry,
All right.
doing a bit of cooking as well because I have to feed the people here.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. Hi everybody. My name is Crystal. Hope you can see me. Yes. Okay. Yeah. All right. So PRAMP is basically a website for you to do your technical interviews, to practice with somebody else. Okay. So it can be with another developer in another industry, but the way that Andrew has set it up is that you practice amongst yourselves, okay? Because you'll be using exactly the same tech stack, so it might make it easier for you to practice. And you will answer, so you sign up to the website and you have a list of questions that will be prepared for you, and you can ask your peer questions and give them feedback on how they answered the questions well or not. So that's the basic idea with PRAMP. So you can do a PRAMP technical, which is answering technical questions, but you can also do a PRAMP behavioral, And this comes back to the culture fit Andrew was just talking about. So in behavioral interviews, they will ask you things like, tell me about yourself, or tell me about a time when you faced conflict, or a time when you disagreed with someone, or a time when you showed leadership skills. So this is a very good platform to practice those questions before you actually meet a recruiter or an interviewer and ask those questions as well. So that's how the platform works.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So as you can see, there are a couple of to-dos here. So this is an example where we're kind of building the plane as we're flying it. But that's next week, so that's fine. We'll get that worked out well in advance of when you actually need to do this. So, but that's Wednesday or Thursday of next week. You would spend a little time on Pramp with your pair buddy.
Can I ask another, like a practical question?
Yes, please.
Meeting where I can be like 10 minutes late, or I can watch the recording. Do you have a preference?
Oh, I see. Like, is it better to?
Yeah, to show up a
not
little
to come in the
late.
middle? Yeah.
Or would that interrupt the flow, and it's better to just watch the recording after?
I think it's probably fine for most of them. For you, if you're running a little bit behind and you need, you come in 5 or 10 minutes late, it's probably not the end of the world. So
yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think that's fine. And we will record everything too as well. So, if that first 5 minutes turned out to be really important, it'll be recorded and you can go back and watch it after. So,
okay, thank you.
but I think there's a ton of value of being on the synchronous calls if you can. So, you'll be able to interact and ask questions and those kinds of things. Some of the sessions may have sort of breakout room kinds of things. So, but if you come in late, we'll just do our best to kind of integrate you into what's going on. So,
No, that's great.
yeah, and let's see, for our Spanish language folks, our Spanish speakers, for the interviews and for most of the wherever it kind of made sense, we have you paired up with Spanish speaking mentors. So you will be able to do your interview in Spanish, or your interviews in Spanish, and you'll be paired up with another Spanish speaker. If you want to be brave and try to do your interview in English, I'm sure Indira and Alejandro and Juan, they're our mentors are all English speakers as well, so you could do that. But yeah, don't be afraid that you're going to have to do the whole interview in English if you don't want to. Let's see. I'm trying to think of what else is like. Like I said, we're just kind of doing this for the first time. This first session actually might move. I think we may have to move this one back a day or something. There is your sort of in this first week, your self-study. For the LinkedIn profile. Is this clear enough? Would it be helpful? I think one thing we can do is each day we will post into the cohort winter 2021 channel and just say, like, here's kind of the thing you should be working on today, just to kind of make it clear. And we'll link to the appropriate Notion doc and everything. So hopefully that'll help people, because I've been looking at this for 3 or 4 weeks, so I'm super familiar with how it's supposed to go. But like, you're all seeing it for the first time, right? So it may not be clear like when you're supposed to do certain things. So just if you need clarification, and please just like all of the things we do, if you have the question, somebody else probably does as well. So just just be brave and ask it in the public channel, and you'll probably be helping someone else out who's like a little bit unclear on the thing as well. So I don't have a lot else to say right now. So are there any other questions? Is it clear sort of the flow of things? And I feel like maybe it's not super clear like what you need to do kind of on your own and what we're going to be just presenting to you. So would that be helpful? There is not a dedicated Career Lab channel, but we could create one, because there are people who aren't in the cohort channel who are going to take part too. So yeah, why don't we do that? Why don't we, somebody just maybe make like Career Lab Winter 2021, just create the channel, and then we'll all join that.
I also really like that thought, Andrew, of having like a note about what is just presented and what we need to like do pre-work for. That sounds really helpful.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, so maybe we'll do some of that in the channel once it's created, which it's now created. There it is. I love how Slack works. All right, so who created it? Oh, Allie created it. Hey, Allie, would you mind renaming it to Career Lab Winter 2021?
Yeah, I can do that.
Thanks. And yeah, so we'll go through there, and I can kind of get it started with what would be sort of the first thing you're going to need to do on your own, and linking back to that. So anywhere that there's not a custom icon, those things probably haven't even been looked at just yet. So like I said, just trust that we'll get all the content in place as we go, and try to stay one step ahead of you all. I guess that's it. I don't know. Are there any other questions? No? Super excited to do this with you. It's a bit of an experiment, but I think it's yeah, it should be a lot of fun. And yeah, we'll have actually a feedback survey at the very end too, where you can kind of give us your thoughts at the end about what went well and what didn't go as well, and all those kinds of things too. But yeah, I guess if there's nothing else, we'll call it and give everybody half an hour back. Thanks, everybody. Excited to do this with you. Take care. We'll see you for the next 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Thanks. Thank you.